The desert of Nine was alive with whispers, though nothing visible moved. Wind scoured the red sands, throwing fine grains into spirals that danced like fire. The sky overhead was a deep violet, streaked with lightning that split the clouds in jagged lines. Every flash painted shadows that crawled across the jagged cliffs and strange alien formations, making the landscape feel alive. It was beautiful, terrifying, deadly. Inside a small, flimsy tent, a man huddled. His name was Cole. He was not a soldier, not a fighter, not even someone who had trained to survive on alien worlds. He was a scientist, a researcher, a human who had chosen curiosity over safety. Now that choice had brought him to the edge of death, alone in a storm that felt as if it had been sent to punish him personally. His arm throbbed. Blood had seeped through the makeshift bandage he had tied hours ago after a slip on a jagged crystal formation. The wound wasn't deep enough to be fatal, he hoped, but the slow trickle of red across his skin reminded him of his fragility. Each heartbeat made him feel the blood pulse like a warning, each drop a reminder that he was alone and vulnerable. He tried to calm himself. "Stay calm," he whispered, though his voice shook. "Just stay calm, I can make it through the night." But it was hard to stay calm on Nine. The storms never truly slept. Even when the winds softened, an eerie silence followed, filled with subtle sounds that made his skin crawl. Rocks shifting, creatures moving underground, the far-off wails of unknown predators. Everything was a reminder that he was small, fragile, and insignificant in this alien world. Looked around the tent. His equipment was scattered. The radio had been crushed by a fall earlier that day, and his emergency beacon wouldn't even send a signal. His small research ship sat miles away, half buried in red sand. Its engines were damaged. Repairs would take weeks if anyone came at all. He had no help coming. None. He pressed his hands to his face and exhaled slowly. "I shouldn't have come here," he admitted aloud. "I was foolish. I wanted to see to understand, and now I'm alone." Alone, that word carried more weight than any storm or alien predator. He was entirely alone. No allies, no backup, no hope. Just him, a bleeding arm, and a desert that could swallow him whole. The wind stopped suddenly. The silence was absolute, heavy, and unnatural. It pressed down on the tent and felt it immediately. His heart raced. Something was approaching. He could hear it if he listened closely, a soft step, deliberate, cautious. It didn't belong to any animal he knew. It wasn't mechanical. It was intelligent, and it was coming closer. Froze, his pulse jumped in his ears. The step stopped right outside the tent, and for a moment nothing moved. Then a voice spoke. "Human." His blood ran cold. It wasn't a shout nor a growl. It was calm, almost hypnotic. Cold, beautiful, deadly. "I smell your blood," the voice continued. "I can smell your fear, and I can smell the life you carry." His hands tightened around the small plasma knife he carried for protection. It was weak, almost useless against anything truly dangerous on this planet, but it was all he had. His mind raced, imagining every story he had ever heard about this world. Creatures that could tear a human apart in seconds, predators that thrived on blood, hunters that smelled fear and would not stop until it was gone. The zipper of the tent slowly began to move. It was deliberate, precise. There was no rush, no panic. It opened ever so slightly, letting in a sliver of the storm's cold, wet air. His breath caught in his throat as the shadow of something moved past the fabric. Then, finally, she stepped inside. She was tall, her presence was overwhelming. Her skin shimmered pale blue in the dim light like moonlight on ice. Her hair flowed around her shoulders like black smoke caught in a gentle wind. Her eyes were silver, glowing faintly, almost hypnotic. Two thin fangs rested on her lower lip. She moved with a predator's grace, elegant yet terrifying, and she smelled every drop of blood in the tent with a faint curl of satisfaction. I had read about them in research files, but nothing could prepare him for the reality. They were the apex predators of Nine, lived by hunting and draining creatures, intelligent and ruthless. Entire research camps had been wiped out by them in hours. And here one was, stepping closer, drawn by the scent of his blood. His knees threatened to buckle, his voice caught in his throat. "Please don't," he managed to whisper, but she ignored him. Her nose twitched as she leaned closer to him, studying the wound on his arm, felt the heat of her gaze, and his breath came faster. Her silver eyes widened slightly at the sight of the blood, and then something unexpected happened. She froze, stepped back. Her sharp claws hovered in the air, but she did not move closer. Blinked what? Your blood, she whispered almost to herself. It is wrong. Smine scrambled. Wrong, what do you mean wrong? She shook her head, visibly trembling. It should not be here, it should not exist like this. You are impossible. The silence stretched. The storm outside roared, but inside the tent nothing moved except their breathing. Realized that she was afraid of him. Afraid, he managed to whisper. Yes, she said, her voice trembling now. Humans, we tried to drink your blood. My people, we thought it would be easy, simple, weak, easy prey, but her voice caught. It killed us. It burns us from the inside. It rejects us. You carry poison, death. Your blood is toxic to my kind. Could hardly believe what he was hearing. You're saying I'm dangerous. She looked at him with eyes wide in disbelief. Yes, but not to you, to us. Laughed weakly, a sound full of relief and horror. I'm not a hero, I'm not brave, I'm just human, fragile, scared, alone. Her silver eyes softened slightly, though the glow remained. You bleed, you feel, you fear, and yet you survive. That is strength, not my strength, not alien strength, something different, human strength. Felt something he had not felt in hours. A connection, not comfort, not friendship, but recognition. This creature, this predator, saw him not as prey, but as something remarkable, something she feared and admired at the same time. The storm outside grew louder, but she moved closer, carefully, cautiously. She pulled a small device from her belt, a medical tool. Eyes widened. Why would she help him? Her hands were careful, steady, but hesitant as she touched his wound. I should let you die, she whispered. You are dangerous to my kind, but, she paused, her gaze meeting his. You are not a monster, and neither am I. Swallowed hard. Why are you helping me? Because, she said quietly, I have killed many, I have taken much. But humans are not like other creatures. You survive, you endure, you fight with your heart, your mind, not just your claws or strength. That is something my people have never understood. Hours passed as the storm raged. His arm was bandaged more securely than before. He sat back, exhausted, watching the alien predator that had entered his life. Her name, she said, was. They did not speak much after that, just breathing, listening to the wind, waiting for the storm to pass. By dawn, the sky turned a gold-orange color, unusual for this world. Its beacon finally activated, signaling a nearby ship. She stepped back, as if acknowledging the end of their strange night together. Go, she whispered. Live, survive. Humans are more dangerous than we ever imagined. Remember this. You bleed, you feel, you fear, and still you endure. That is why your kind will never be defeated. Then she disappeared into the desert. Sat in the tent, staring at the empty desert, feeling awe and terror mingle in his chest. Alone, yes, but alive. And for the first time, he understood why humans were so feared, respected, and admired. Not for technology, not for strength, not for weapons, but for endurance, heart, and the stubborn, terrifying ability to survive.